All right, so far this half hour, we've talked about projects that are either completed or certainly well in the works, right? But to wrap up, we want to look forward to some future development.
And specifically, we are talking about the reimagined Scajaquada corridor.
Yeah, a coalition talked about its ideas today for that part of the city, including the removal of the 198 expressway. So joining us live right now to talk about all this is Justin Booth, the executive director of GoBike Buffalo. That is one of the groups that is part of this Scajaquada coalition. We really appreciate you coming on and helping walk us through some of the plans you guys laid out today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And so the plan announced today is one vision for what the Scajaquada corridor could be, but you were quick to say it's not comprehensive. It doesn't address cars, for example. So why did you leave out vehicle traffic, and how do you see discussions about that going in the future?
So importantly, no one on the coalition are transportation engineers. We're community-minded individuals that are focusing on mobility, on creek restoration, neighborhood stabilization, revitalization, reconnecting our Olmsted parks back together again. The Greater Buffalo Niagara Regional Transportation Council is the agency that is going to be starting up a new process for the community to engage in and what the future of the Scajaquada could be. And our vision is one that is community-centered and people-focused, that we wanted to present to the community as a starting point for a conversation as we all begin to participate in that new process.
Yeah, and the more the public can get involved in that, I mean, everybody watching, you know, let your voices be heard on all this. We've seen some of the renderings that were put together by the Scajaquada Corridor Coalition, your group, that you unveiled today, and they really do look great. What are the most, I guess, significant aspects of this that you think our viewers should understand in terms of the ideas that you all have put forward?
Yeah, I mean, starting from the East End, it's, you know, reestablishing Humboldt Parkway. I don't think many people know that Humboldt Parkway used to connect Delaware Park to MLK Park. And that parkway was basically divided between the two expressways, the 198 and 33. And so for the Scajaquada section, for the 198 section, we want to restore Humboldt Parkway and reconnect the Camelot Park neighborhoods and the Trinidad neighborhoods together again. So it's very easy to walk across and see your friends as opposed to having to drive around. You have a reimagined and reconnection of Delaware Park using the historic bridge that right now carries traffic over it. A key component is bringing the traffic down to Delaware Avenue and moving it through a tunnel underneath that section of the park to reconnect the two halves of the park together again. Over by Buffalo State, you have a tremendous opportunity for creek restoration and really making Buffalo State a very attractive SUNY campus, bringing the waterfront right up to the campus and making connections over to the Grant Amherst Business Association, which right now is a terrible walk across the overpass along Grant Street there. And then, of course, when you get to the west end, it's removing all the spaghetti ramps that connect to the 198 from the 190, taking them out of the creek itself, and looking at other opportunities to enhance and expand the street grid that was once in place to help move traffic through that corridor and opening up a ton of opportunities for economic development, a lot of the vacant land in that area.
We look at some of these plans and a lot of people might look at it and say we've seen this before or we've heard this conversation for a long time. How confident are you that this can actually be something that can be put into action? What is the game plan to really make this reality?
So what's important is that when the State Department of Transportation was in town last, they gave us a plan that was focused on moving cars and moving cars only and said take it or leave it. And the community pushed back and said leave it. We have now a new process that is focused on building upon the assets that exist in that community and the ability for mobility within that corridor. So the new process is going to allow our community to think about what is the vision for what that corridor should be and how does our transportation then fit within that vision, which is a completely different process, which before was really focused on how quickly could we move a lot of vehicles through the corridor. On top of that, we have a pending infrastructure bill from the Biden administration that has already identified $20 billion available for removing highways in our cities that have had detrimental impacts upon the people that are living there, from our health, from the economic side, from a greenhouse gas emissions perspective, and overall quality of life. There's a lot of ways that we can build a more sustainable and resilient future if we think about how we advance these projects that are people focused and not just oriented towards vehicles.
Yeah, we know it's an important conversation. Justin Booth, Executive Director of GoBike Buffalo, thanks for coming on and talking with us tonight. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks everybody for watching tonight. Remember, you can keep texting us your questions and your comments, 716-849-2200.
Kelly and I will be back with Channel 2 News at 6 after this quick break.